Mute, mate.
I'm on mute.
There we go.
Wayne's left us on mute. Naughty Wayne. Anyway, I'm pleased I missed that bit out because I was talking shite. Anyway, here we are back again with another SFC Fan TV live stream on a Thursday night. All things to do with Sunderland. We're missing Dave at the moment. Hopefully he'll come on later on. I'm forgetting his name, Mike Dave or whatever his name is. Anyway, hopefully he's on later on. He's running a bit late tonight, he said. So what we'll do before we get started with the horrible result of losing 1-0 and the nasty feelings I had afterwards of the Cardiff game, we're going to move on to Elliot Embleton first. Some bad news came out from Derby that Elliot Embleton's been sidelined and he's been returned back to Sunderland to go undergo treatment, if possible. I think it's surgery to do with a thigh injury. He could be out for 7 or 8 months, and after just getting back from an ankle injury, being out for a long time, I feel absolutely distraught, and I feel really sorry for the poor lad. What's your thoughts on that, Jacob?
So unfortunate. I can't think of many Sunderland players in the past couple of years that have had such bad luck with injuries as what he's had. To be honest, I wished him all the best going down to Derby. I thought he would have made a significant impact on that league like he did when we sent him out on loan before at Blackpool, and he actually won promotion with Blackpool a few years back. So yeah, I thought he would have been able to show enough quality in that division to get Derby out of that league potentially, but yeah, it's not going to happen now, and it's unfortunate. I don't know how serious the injury actually is, but I know it's going to be a couple of months at least, which is so unfortunate considering he's just come back after missing the majority of last season. Yeah, so unfortunate for the lad.
Yeah, he's really a really talented young lad come through the academy. He's at one point had a massive future at Sunderland, but the injuries are just piling up at the moment. And Jack apparently was taking a corner and he felt his thigh or something. Any thoughts for yourself there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame, just echo what Jacob said. I mean, you hope when you send your players on loan that they're going to get a good run in the first team, they're going to get experience, they're going to build the fitness up, and then that might be helpful for you later on in the season if it's a 6-month loan, or next season if it's a full season loan, that he might come back into the first team fold. So it's a shame for him generally because, I mean, he was one of those that was a mainstay in our League One promotion team, wasn't he? He scored the goal at Wembley, of course, and he got a lot of assists that season, and he was a main player in that squad. And now the downside for him is the squad's improved, hasn't it? We have, we're not only have we gone up a level, we've got a lot of players in his position, sort of centre midfield and attacking midfield, where Elliot Embleton would likely to be playing. So it's unfortunate for him. Now, hopefully, he can build his fitness back up and get back playing. Whether or not that's at Sunderland or not, I'm not too sure. It would be great to see him if he does come back and play for us again and start and get back in the Championship fold. But that seems a long way off for him now at the minute, doesn't it? I think the Derby loan was a chance for him to get back regular first team football and stake his claim, but it's gone a little bit south for him. So I wish him all the best. I hope he does get fit and hope he does get playing. But I have a feeling that that probably isn't going to be at Sunderland anymore. It might be that when he does get his fitness up, it might be that he's looking for a move.
I was just about to ask that next question to Jacob. I was going to say, do you reckon you'll ever see him in a Sunderland shirt again? I mean, he could be out possibly for the rest of the season. You just don't know. And if we move on another level again, what do you think Elliot Embleton's best position is, Jacob, anyway?
Attacking midfield, I would say, but also Wayne's return.
Hello, Dave. Dave's here. Well, he's even in
he's got himself. We'll come back to you in a minute, Wayne, mate. Yeah, sadly, obviously, I've met Elliot before. Really, really nice guy. Really humble guy, committed, hardworking, great attitude, and it's a shame. I don't think he'll be playing for us for the foreseeable future. I'm afraid. I think it's just the way it is with the players we've got in the position that he plays in now, and I think. I mean, I don't know what his contract situation is like, whether he's got this is his final season. I'm not too sure. Someone correct us on the chat tonight. But yeah, I never like to see players, out for a long period of time with so many bad injuries. So yeah, I hope he does come back, but whether that's with us, sadly, I don't think it is. But yeah, I hope it's with another club that he can make a significant impact with.
All right, nice one. So, Wayne, what's your thoughts on Elliot Embleton there? Just a few words you want to say?
Aye, it's a sad one for a minute, really. It's like you said, like what Jack Jacob just been saying there. Went there for to try and get game time, maybe till January, then hopefully come back and play a part in the rest of our season. But especially such a freak injury like taking a corner, it's devastating for him, like proper guttering.
Definitely, yeah. Jacob, on the chat, was there any Daves on the chat today? And how many people are watching at the moment?
Right, so far, first glance tonight, we've got Las Palmas, Mackham, evening lads, FTM, Ben Allison Ski 2020, good evening lads, evening also given out by Ryan McCormack and Conrad Tank, DJ Sizzler Watson, one of our regular watchers, evening, just a message from my bed, not well. Again, the Cardiff game, we tried walking the ball in the net. Shy boys get nothing if you don't try shoot on sight. A few people wondering why we were late tonight. We do apologise for that, a bit of technical issues there. Brandon, evening lads, how's people? I'm assuming we're all fine this evening, guys. A few people, Mike M's asking what happened to Wee Philly. Who knows, Wee Philly could be back in the future, but I'm uncertain with that one. Terry might know the answer to that. And yeah, a few other evenings and greetings from David Wilson, Anthony, David, and also David Wilson as well.
Everybody out there knows how professional I am in doing live streams and this, that, and the other, and just what comes out my head. But we are sponsored on SAFC Fan TV by some people called Toffs. Here it is. It's not here. It's here. Toffs. And I've had a few people come onto my show and say, you're wearing a replica shirt. It's not a real shirt. I know it's not a real shirt. It's a free replica shirt. Where's it come from again, Wayne?
It's the old-fashioned football shirt company.
Is that Team Valley or Gateshead or somewhere?
I think so. I think they remember that way. But like you see, we've got a discount code now, SAFN 15. All good stuff. All good stuff.
Link in the
description. Is it in the description there? The code and the website and everything. Description's
all in the link, and the description's all in the description. It's all there
in the bio.
Right. No. Excellent, fantastic. And Jacob, how many was on the chat tonight? I'm forgetting because I never listened to you. Sorry.
So far, we have got 65 people watching.
65 people. Thank you for 65 people joining the stream. Please give us a thumbs up, much appreciated. Now, Jacob, I forgot to ask this at the start as well because all the technical problems got me mind all in a bit of a mush. How are you doing anyway?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Just getting ready for the autumn months now. I'm ready for the change, to be honest. I embrace the change of seasons. I'm not like a guy who whinges and moans when it goes from sunny weather down to cold again. I'm not too fussed about it, me personally.
Well, the weather's never really that cold down south, is it? Let's face it, not like up north over here. It gets a bit chilly up here.
I guess you can say that.
And also, Jacob, apparently, Juicen Bennett, he's not injured. He's had some sort of, is it infection or bogo or something? Some virus? Have you heard anything?
Well, I know, wasn't he not involved against Cardiff for that reason? Whether that's still the case for tomorrow night, I'm not so sure on that one. But I know Mowbray said in his presser today that he has got a few more injury concerns going into this one than what he did for the Cardiff game. But I do like the fact that he keeps things under wraps and he doesn't like to reveal to the press what type of injuries these are, what players these are affecting for a tactical point of view. Put it that way.
Well, at the end of the day, I don't really get that. I think if you're a good enough team to beat teams, you're a good enough team to beat teams. And, all the cloak and daggers doesn't do anything for me, to be honest. But each to their own, we all do things differently. Jack, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm doing canny. Still a bit disappointed about the weekend. I'm sure we're going to come on to that. But football games come thick and fast, don't they? So there's a chance tomorrow night to put that right and get it out of our system. So yeah, and we've also got 2 home games next week. So hopefully it was just a blip. But yeah, I'm all right personally. Off tomorrow, obviously, to go at the match. So can't whinge too much.
What time you got to set off to go at the match to Sheffield?
Our bus is leaving tomorrow at 2:30, so we should be there fairly early. Sheffield's probably 2.5 hours maybe from ours 3. So I would think at the latest we're going to be there by about 5:30. Hopefully,
beat the rush hour.
Yeah, I was just going to say, hopefully we don't need to hit too much traffic with the rush hour. So yeah, maybe a few opportunities potentially if we can get a taxi, maybe to dot into Sheffield for an hour and a half before the game. We'll wait and see.
You got a day off work, like Jack?
Got all day off work. Yeah, I've got a hospital appointment in the morning, so I was going to be off anyway. So the game being shifted to a Friday night's worked out okay for me. I know it affected a lot of people, and I'm not a fan of Sky shifting games at late notice because fans will probably organise weekends, and we might be missing a few regulars. So, but it worked out okay for me.
Jacob,
it's actually done many people a favour now with moving it to the Friday because there's a national train strike, I believe, on Saturday affecting all lines across the country.
All right, thank you for that very much. Much appreciated. So we'll go on to Sunday's game. Sorry, we'll start with Wayne. We know Wayne's doing fine. Asking before we come on the live stream. So Wayne, you okay, aren't you?
I am, mate. Just nice to get off the subs bench and make an appearance.
I see you on Sunday, didn't I? Seen you on Sundays before the match started. A little bit of sing along. So the match on Sunday, we've gone through a good run of form, and the one thing about Tony Mowbray I didn't like about his press conference before the game was on about how teams can sort of come down playing against a side that you kind of expect to beat at home, and that teams can go through we're going to go through a couple of games where we won't win a game, or a couple of games where we'll lose a couple of games, or we could possibly lose 3 games. And I don't like the defeatist attitude personally on that scale. That's the only thing I would sort of take out of these. Personally, I want to try and win every game or stay unbeaten all season. So got to come in with a positive attitude. We won. So we won 4 and we drew 1 in the last 5 games, and we're going to go 6 unbeaten. And Cardiff turned up. I mean, we all fancied that. I'd have to say anybody who predicted Sunderland to get beat against Cardiff, but I always felt that there was one of those teams like we did last season. We struggled to break down teams that don't come out and play against us, and we knew Cardiff were going to come and kind of defend for a point. I would have thought for the majority of the game, so it's down to us to break them down. Now Burstow hasn't been playing. He's bedding in slowly, but the jury's out with the young lad, and we don't seem to create as many chances at home as we do away. Now, what was your thoughts on the first half on Sunday, Wayne, and why is that? Is that just solely because teams come and park the bus?
Well, it's been our issue for the last couple of years, when teams come up and they just defend games and we struggle to break them down. It's frustrating. I mean, the first half performance, to be fair, I didn't think it was too bad. We had loads of the ball, it was that final ball again, and I think we're still trying to play like as though we haven't got a centre forward. I think we're still overplaying on the wings too much instead of putting the ball in the box. And it's like we're still trying to play that tippy tappy football instead of just putting the cross in sometimes. And there's loads of times we got down the side of them, but then came back out again to then play an extra pass. Burstow, I'm still not convinced about him, but he's only a young lad. But to me, we're not playing the way to get him into the game. And he's not strong enough to have his back to goal. He can't hold the ball up. So, but apart from that, the first half performance wasn't too bad. But you could see after the first 15, 20 minutes that they had come up for a point. That's what they'd come for. Unfortunately, it didn't go out that way. But it was just a typical, like, going back to the old days of not being able to break teams down, unfortunately.
Were you happy that Roberts was on the bench?
Well, Barr's been playing well, and yet. But if Roberts is fit, you would think you would have put him in. Roberts is a better player than Barr. But you couldn't argue with him not playing him because Barr's been keeping out the side, and Barr didn't do bad actually first half. But I just think that we could have freshened up a little bit. Pritchard looked a bit leggy as well, I thought, the first half as well. So
was that down to Tony Mowbray not freshening things up like during the game earlier? If we know we've had a really tough week, we've got players on the bench.
Well, I was expecting to make some changes at half time. I thought he might have been a couple at half time, but he didn't. He persevered. Was it 60 odd minutes when he normally makes these changes, and that's when he brought the 3 lads on. But for me, it was too late. I think it could have been done a lot earlier. I see Pritchard looked leggy. Barr could have took him off earlier than what he did, and maybe he's even took Burst off and trying to freshen that forward area a little bit. How is the end when he comes on, but I'd have brought him on earlier than what he did as well. So I would have probably done him a little bit earlier.
Jacob, going on to you. What was your thoughts on team selection on Sunday?
Before we come to me, Terry, I'll quickly go to the chat once again. Anthony, our left winger can't use his left foot, and our right winger can't use his right foot. Have they both been sussed constantly coming inside? David Thompson, evening Duff lads. Which of the new lads do we think are going to be starting tomorrow night then? Pete Harvey, evening lads, I think Russian should start, hoping for a win. What will the score prediction, what will the score be against Sheffield Wednesday? I think he's referring to. We'll come onto that a little bit later in the show. And Ryan McCormack, we need to start shooting outside the box. Look what Equa did versus Southampton. We just try to walk the ball into the goal. Terry, what was your question again?
What was your thoughts on the team selection on Sunday? And do you think that players don't have the confidence in Burstow to put the ball in the net? Sorry, put the ball in the box.
It's still very, very early days. To be honest, I think the Burstow things are relevant because I think we're all still so used to the way we were playing towards the back end of last season with a false nine up top rather than a big target man. I know when we had Stuart available, we were just as good on an attacking point of view, having a big man up there as well as a false nine. But listen, I think personally, I believe that Mowbray, because squad rotation's vital, being down in this league, playing, obviously having periods where you're playing midweek and then on a Saturday, he may have made some changes for Sunday, considering obviously Cardiff are not as good as a side as what Blackburn were, and obviously I think we may have had a few tired and leggy legs going into the game, and he remained unchanged. I think for Black, I think he was forced into one. He only took Equa out the side for the Blackburn game on Wednesday night, which was the only change from QPR. But yeah, it's a difficult one because I think right now, in terms of quality we've got, that's probably the best starting 11 we could go with. I know we've got, if Equa is fit, he would go straight in there. But in terms of the players we've got available, the one I think could be switch tomorrow evening would be the striker. I think Burstow could drop out and maybe Russian could come in. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He could come in to start ahead of him, as he's more of sort of a player like, obviously nowhere near in terms of quality, but a player like Diallo was last season with a false nine, making runs in the channel. Burstow doesn't do that. He likes to drop deeper. But yeah, only time will tell, Terry. But listen, I think whatever team we do play, I am fairly confident it's good enough to beat a Sheffield Wednesday side who are currently bottom of the table.
I'm personally pretty confident Rushin won't get a start tomorrow. I think it'll be Burstow all day long. So Jack, Sunday's match. What was your thoughts on the team selection, and did Tony get it wrong during the game with the substitutions?
Yeah, I agree. I think we should have changed it a little bit early. We were looking a little bit leggy. We were looking a little bit frustrating. We had plenty of the ball, but not a lot happening with it. Second half, we did create some decent chances. Their keeper pulled off a couple of decent saves. We were a little bit wasteful. I think we'll probably play worse than that this season to get 3 points. I don't think it's too much to sort of panic over. Do you know what I mean? Yes, it's a poor result, but I think it does raise questions over how we play against those sort of teams, though, Terry. I think, we're okay when teams come at us and they like to attack and there's spaces in the channels and we can get in and give the ball to Patrick Robertson, Jack Clark, and we're okay at that, you know what I mean? But when a team is organised, they don't push the full-backs up, there's not as much space, they're a little bit firmer in the tackle, and the better organised when they don't have the ball, we sometimes struggle to break those teams down, and people are saying, Cardiff, horrible way to play football. We've done it. We did it when we were in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? We used to go to big teams at Man United and Arsenal and Chelsea, Liverpool. We used to play like that and hope for a 1-0. So it's a compliment, really, that they played like that to us, because it shows they've got respect. They realise how good of a team we are. But it's just disappointing to have lost a game that the one chance that they had, they put away. I know they had one afterwards when we pushed everybody forward, but the one chance that they got, they knocked one in, which is frustrating from our point of view. But really, it's been a decent start, I think. You know what I mean? We started pretty well still. It's important not to get, too disheartened. Yes, it's a poor result. But I think we probably play that game 8 or 9 times and we get at least a draw out of it. So it was one of those freak occasions that happened. Cardiff are absolutely happy that their game plan worked brilliantly. You've got to give them a little bit of credit, because they did play well in terms of the defensive side of the game. If we'd done that in the Premier League, like I say, a team would be absolutely buzzing for it. It's just frustrating for us, but games come thick and fast. We've got Sheffield Wednesday on Friday, and just try and put it out of our system.
Before I go to Jacob, Jack, we have played that game twice in 2 seasons, and we haven't seemed to learn from our lesson. What could we do different?
It's a difficult one. It's a really difficult one, because I agree. It's very, very similar to the game we played against Cardiff last year, wasn't it? You know, that they had one chance. I think they scored a little bit early in the game last year, but they defended well and they're organised. I think sometimes, you know, I'm a big fan of keeping the tempo up, and I think sometimes with us, we have possession for the sake of having possession, and sometimes that's easy to defend against. There's not players running in behind. There's not players playing the ball quickly, and it seems simple to say that, but I think sometimes the way that we play is a bit slow, dare I say it. You know, we are a little bit slow on the ball. We keep the ball well, but there's not enough running in behind. There's not enough quick passing and quick turns, and I think sometimes we're a little bit easy to play against. And obviously a plan B, because we seem to be lacking a plan B at the minute. We have a great plan A, and when that works, everything goes well, like in the 2 away games, QPR and Blackburn. But there needs to be some sort of a plan B, whether or not that'll be rushing in behind, you know, drawing teams out and letting teams come out a little bit and then knocking the ball in behind to rushing and getting in behind. If he's going to be the number 9, I don't know what the answer is. But yeah, for me, we're a bit too easy to play against when we play like that.
I do think in long term, in the future, I think when Rushin gets fit and is up the sort of speed of the player, I think he is that player that can turn in the box, that can run at players directly. I saw him under 21s during the week, and he was so direct and so fast. He will make, obviously, sort of defenses really shit themselves. I think that's the kind of player we need, because we are really slow at home, Jacob. Really slow at home. I think away from home, we're a lot faster with the ball, a lot quicker with the ball, obviously, because other teams are coming out to us, because the emphasis is on them to sort of play better at home. Yeah, how do you think of Jacob?
Yeah, just obviously going back to the live chat again, a few more comments. Comrade Tank Burster have shown nothing in the 3 starts. Time to play someone else up top. Andrew Ross, most sides will come to the Stadium of Light and set up like Cardiff unless we figure out a way to break them down. Automatic promotion is out of the question. Maybe change in formation from 4-4-2 to 3-5-2. David Thompson, I think Roberts will replace Barr. Barr has played well, in fairness, so might be slightly unfair, but if you can only keep Roberts out of a team at this level, you can only keep Roberts out of a team at this level for so long. And Adrian Kitchen, he's coming with 2 comments. I've got a good feeling about tomorrow. Reckon it's going to be 3-1 to us. We'll come on to predictions from us lot on the panel tonight a little bit later on. And he's also come in with the way Mowbray dodged questions on injuries today. Reckon there might be a couple of surprise absentees. We'll still have too much for them though, so he's confident going into tomorrow night's game.
Yeah, Wayne?
Just in the comments there, David's just said there, not one ball over the top in the first start, like not one ball over the top for Burstow. I don't know whether you noticed on Sunday, but every time we had the ball at the back or just like deep line midfielder, Burstow was looking for that run in behind the defenders, and not once did we play that ball over the top. Everything went down the sides, and I think at times to mix it up, we should be trying the ball over the top for Burstow to run to it. It's nearly come up a couple of times before when Joby's done that type of thing, and to me, he looks that type of player who likes to run in behind, but we'll never ever try to get him in.
Jacob?
For me, though, watching that Cardiff game, he doesn't do enough to get into the box. There were periods where Bellingham got the ball just on the edge of the D and he was crying out for him to make a run or just be in and around that penalty area, and he had to rely on Abdullah Barr to run off him. Hence, the best chance we had of the game, where Barr, I think all he needed to do was just hit it across the keeper and he squared it to Pritch, which obviously they done well to get a block on it and divert it out for a corner. But yeah, going back to, I remembered now what I was going to say before, at full time, looking on Cardiff's socials from their fans, what they were saying on Twitter, we're the best side that they've come up against so far this season. And considering it's a game that we got beat in, you know, there is sort of positives to take in a way, but the fact that it's still early on in the season, you know, we've got time to address these issues in terms of the way we're playing right now.
Jack?
Yeah, I was just echo what Jacob said there. I think, you know, there's a lot of overreaction. When we win a couple of games like we did last week, we're going to be automatic promotion. When we lose on Sunday, it's, you know what I mean, we're going to be down to mid-table. I think the reality is we're probably playoff side. Our squad's probably maybe 4th, 5th, 6th best squad, so we should be aiming for the playoffs. It would be great if we can aim for the automatics and get there. Personally, I think we're not quite there yet. We might be there next season with another year in us. We're just touching on what Ryan McCormack says about the home atmosphere. I think the home atmosphere is good to start with, but I think the lack of sort of exciting play and tempo and speed in the game sometimes harmed the atmosphere, because we had a lot of the ball, but there wasn't many chances in the first half. There wasn't anything really to get excited about. And I know people say, well, the fans should be behind the team for 90 minutes. I think it's not a case of being behind the team. I think sometimes you need something to get you off your seat a little bit and get the crowd going, and keeping the ball a lot of the time, and no chances, no crosses, nobody shooting, nobody, the crowd can go a little bit flat. One stat I did see, though, was since the start of last season, when we got promoted, we've had 27 games at home. We've actually only won 9. Now, you don't need to be Rachel Riley to work out it's 1 in 3. That's nowhere near good enough. Sorry, but if we want to have ambitions to get out of this league, we have to start finding a way to win more regularly at home and quickly, because we're not always going to be able to rely on the away form. Although the way that the home teams play against us when we're away suits us a little bit more, we have to start working out how to break teams down, because our home record it's poor. Let's call it what it is.
It is very poor, and I think with the big injuries to Stuart, because Stuart was one of the, when I say Stuart playing at home, we did win quite a few games at home with Stuart, and I'm not sure what kind of record we'd have with him playing and sort of stats are with that. But I think when we've got a proper striker, we do seem to play better, and when we haven't got the striker, we play differently altogether. And I don't know whether it's Tony Mowbray or the players or both, but they don't seem to have sort of taken to the fact that we've got a striker on the pitch now. We've got to play to his strengths, exactly what Wayne just said earlier on. Jack, do we continue to persist with Burstow and hope the players adapt and change to his style, or is Burstow going to change and adapt to play into the players' style?
I think the two go hand in hand, don't they? You know what I mean? You have to say to Burstow, this is what we want you to do, and you have to get on the training pitch and say this is the style of play that we want to implement. I think Burstow could do a little bit more, but I also feel like we are one-dimensional, and sometimes, regardless of your player, you know what I mean, unless you've got that ideal player, you know what I mean, it's not going to work. So sometimes you do need to mix it up a little bit and try the odd thing. I don't know whether Rushan's going to be the number one, though, whether Burstow's going to be the sort of second backup, substitute, play the odd game. I personally think Rushan might be the number one striker. At the minute, I think Burstow will probably play again on Friday night, tomorrow night. I agree with you, Terry. But then I think Wednesday, if Rushan's fit, you might see Rushan start against Watford. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think it's a combination of both. I think, he needs to work on his game a little bit. And we need to maybe, mix it up a little bit to get the most out of him. But I hate to say it, I keep saying it all the time, but he is very, very young. We've got a very, very young squad. He's sort of 18, 19-year-old or whatever he is. So I wouldn't be placing too much on his shoulders, because he's barely played any first-team football and he's been thrown into it. So it's asking a lot of him as well.
Well, Jack, in your pecking order, if you were Tony Mowbray, where would you put Burstow and Semedo? Who, in your mind, in your eyes, who was further forward of the two? Was it a similar?
They're quite similar, to be fair. In terms of who I think will be more likely to start games, I think Burstow is more likely to start a game than Semedo. I think, as we're shown at the minute. I think they're probably both the same. You know what I mean? That the sort of false nine strikers. They're not like target men strikers. You know what I mean? They're not someone that to hold the ball up, as Wayne was touching on. They're not somebody who's going to back end defenders and play the old style of strikers. So yeah, I would probably say that's where they are. But I'll probably put Burstow ahead of Semedo at the minute.
Right. Wayne, we're going to talk about Huggins. What's your thoughts on Huggins? I thought he had a good game on Sunday. He was probably one of the better players on the side, to be fair.
Well, I thought he was close to my man of the match. Him and Dan Neil, I thought, were the two best players on the pitch, and I thought he looked really, really good. He was getting forward to support Clark, and I took a little bit of flack for the game before, didn't he, against Blackburn? But I thought he played really, really well. He looks to be, obviously, he's another one not played a great deal of football lately, and he seems to be getting his fitness up, his match fitness up, and I think he did a good job on Sunday. I thought he did really, really well. But just on the centre forwards as well, should we not be? I know Burstow's coming here from Chelsea, and the understanding probably is that he gets game time. But Emir, our centre forward, should we not be developing him rather than developing other players, other teams' players?
Do you think that the Burstow situation was like a panic situation on deadline day to get somebody in to appease the help to chill the fans out?
Well, you never know. According to Speakman, he's the one that's been tracking for months. But he's always going to say that, and I don't know. It might have been. Maybe they weren't expecting to get, the ones that they got in, and he was maybe a backup. I don't know. But like Jack says, he's very, very young. We've just got to bide our time. But we need somebody to start scoring goals soon. Otherwise, you know, and Armienda's back in training as well, but there's not one of them that looks ready for the first time. Like you, I watched Rusdian on Monday, and out of all of them, he looks the one ready to play first team football.
Who was your man of the match on Sunday?
Huggins, Dan Neil for me, but Huggins would have been a close second. But I thought Dan Neil was trying to get on the ball all the time, and he making things happen. And I thought Dan Neil was head and shoulders above everybody else, really.
Before we go to you, Jacob, what's the chat like, and how many likes have we got at the moment?
So far, in terms of likes, Terry, 43, 98 people watching. The people who are watching, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. We're going to try, like we do on every show, to get to 100 likes. Back to the comments, Terry. Adrian Kitchen, once again, has chipped in with a comment. We've got to mix it up more, including shooting from distance, crossing, as well as our tippy-tapper dribbling stuff. Ryan McCormack, the atmosphere needs to change at home games. We need to get behind the lads. Andrew Ross, Chelsea would not have let Burstow come here without an understanding he'll be first choice. Remind me of your question again, Terry.
What was your thoughts on Huggins? What was your thoughts on Semedo when he came on then?
Well, Huggins, you know, once the window reopened again during the summer, I predicted he might have been one of the lads to potentially go, but Mowbray's seen something in him to keep him here for a tad longer. And you know what, I backed that decision because he did very well on Sunday. You know, he shows lightning pace down that left-hand side, making those overlapping runs. Just wish he could use his left foot a little bit more. There was a moment where I think a few moments, I'd say, he was charging towards the box on the weekend, actually got into the box. I think he missed the chance late on where he tried to curl it into the corner. It went way wide of the mark in the end. But yeah, I see a good player in there in Niall Huggins. I think he's an effective replacement for Sirkin at this moment in time. Obviously, Sirkin will remain first choice, but the thing about Sirkin, he's so unlucky with injuries right now. And yeah, I'm all for Huggins starting at left back at this period in time.
That's the thing, isn't it, Jacob? That's the problem at the moment. We seem to have a couple, you know, pardon the pun, I wish them both all the best in the world, but we've had, I think, a couple of crocs in this position, haven't we? Sirkin, in and out, in and out, in and out. Huggins has been the same.
Had last season.
Huggins has been the same, but Huggins, I thought he was dire first couple of pre-season matches, and I thought since then he's come on, and this is the best I've seen him play at the weekend. So there's obviously good potential in this young lad. So when they both sort of get back to fitness, Jacob, if Huggins is improving, do you see that he would sort of keep his place over Sirkin?
For me, I still think Sirkin will remain first choice because I think he has a good understanding with Clark on that left-hand side on the pitch regarding of who's going to make the overlapping runs, who's going to get the ball into the box out of the two. I think Huggins, you know, he has got the capability to do that as well, but I just think Sirkin's experience will matter most in that position. But I do really rate Huggins. I think from what I've seen so far, he's got the capability of being a really good player.
Right. So, Jack, your thoughts on Huggins? And again, same for you. You know, what's your thoughts on Dennis Sirkin and Huggins long term? Can actually one of them stay injury free?
Yeah, I think he was much better. Wasn't too impressed with him at Blackburn last week. I thought he sold himself too much. He got absolutely done a few times by the winger. He looked slow, but much better on Sunday. I felt he didn't dive in as much. I felt he waited a little bit and he got a few 50-50s right compared to Blackburn on Wednesday when he got them wrong. He also provided a lot of an outlet further up the pitch. He got involved with a few attacks, didn't he? He seemed to be quite far up the pitch a few times, and yeah, he was much better. If they were both 100% fit, I would probably have Sirkin ahead of Huggins. But at the minute, Huggins is benefiting from having the position made his own, similar to the way that Barr and Roberts are at the minute. You know what I mean? I would personally have Patrick Roberts in my starting 11 ahead of Barr, but Barr gets his chance and he's made it his own for 3 or 4 games, and it gives us another option. So it's good. Can either of them stay fit? I don't know. I mean, Huggins, this is the best run he's had. I think we've had him 2 or 3 years, hasn't he? And this is the best run he's had in a team. So I think, you know, if he can stay fit, then great. I think he's more likely to pick up knocks than Sirkin. I think Sirkin's had less injuries and been more in the team. So yeah, it gives us another option. At the minute, Huggins is doing okay. So yeah, I'm pleased to see it, and it's just a bit more squad depth. It's going to be a long season, isn't it? You know, we're going to be playing Saturday, Tuesday the odd week, and you're going to get knocks and training and stuff like that. So the bigger squads tend to have more success at this level. And if we can keep adding to the squad, then it's only a good thing.
Quick question, Jack. Would you drop Patterson?
It's an interesting one because, I mean, the goal that we conceded was, how sloppy was it? I mean, there was 3 mistakes, really, wasn't there? The first mistake was the full back, you know, playing it back to the keeper and kicked it out for a corner. Second mistake was nobody jumped for the header. I think if somebody did jump, it wasn't a very good jump because the lad seemed to have a free header. I think it almost came in off his shoulder or some part of his body. Was it his back or somewhere? And then the third mistake was Patterson. I'm not sure what Patterson was doing. He seemed to think it was going wide. He didn't properly dive. It was a really, really sloppy goal. I think Patterson is getting a game because there's no deputy at the minute. There's no number 2 for him. If we had an experienced number 2 to take him out the firing line, then possibly. Again, you know, people say I'm maybe overreacting, but I think, you know, we've put him on this pedestal as number 1. He's, you know, signed a new deal, and I'm happy he signed a new deal. But I think that in the same way that I've mentioned competition for Serkin and Patrick Roberts with Huggins and Barr, I think he needs a little bit of competition, you know what I mean? And I think he's, dare I say it, maybe getting a little bit complacent. He knows he's going to be number 1 all the time. So yeah, I think, you know, the only thing keeping, I wouldn't drop him, but he's only getting his place at the minute because there isn't a number 2. I mean, it was a pretty poor goal to give away. I thought it was really, really poor from Patterson on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, who was your man of the match, by the way, Jack?
I would have given it to Dan Neil. Again, I thought his touch was fantastic. He made, I think he got on the ball quite a lot, and I think I only counted one time that he gave the ball away. Several good flicks, several times when he got the ball as well, and he opened it up. You know, he had the ball in the middle of the park, and he opened it up. He went right or left, and we got him behind from the wide position. So I will give it to Dan Neil. Me personally, thought he had a really good game, and he gets a lot of stick from our fans. You know, some of our fans say, "Oh, he does nothing." Well, I think if you watched that game and thought Dan Neil did nothing, you need to give your head a wobble.
Yeah, I thought some of his touches are superb as well. His first touch, and yeah, exactly. I totally agree. Patterson and Nathan Bishop. I've seen Nathan Bishop in the 21s. I didn't think much of his performance, so I think Patterson for me at the moment. But I think for that goal, I think everyone just switched up. I think they were all complacent. I think they all thought, like, you know, Cardiff had not had anything up front. And I think they were just sloppy, the whole team, and the majority of them in that situation. Jacob, who was your man of the match, and what was your thoughts on the goal itself, actually?
Man of the match first, Dan Neil. Absolutely brilliant, mate. For me, our best player so far this season, hasn't put a foot wrong at all. Just so quick on the spin, you know, finding a teammate, moving the ball with pace in the final third, you know, great vision to make those killer balls through to the forward line. You know, Dan Neil, at this moment in time, is the heart and soul of that team. You know, you can tell that Mowbray likes to build the team around him. I think he played the most minutes out of any player in the side from the moment Mowbray took over last season. So yeah, Dan Neil, you know, there was a reason why I think Liverpool were knocking on the door, because they're seeing a real quality midfield player in there that's playing in that league. And, you know, he has got a bright future ahead. Let's just hope we can keep hold of Dan Neil for the foreseeable future. Onto the goal we conceded. Yeah, sloppy, to be honest. There's been a few moments like that, you know, from corners, particularly at home, where we're unorganised, mate. You know, we're set up all wrong. It reminded me, go back to, it was the second goal we conceded. Was it at home to Watford last season, where we were 2-0 down? I think it was, I can't remember, correct me if I'm wrong, it might have been Cathcart or someone, or Cabaselli. I think that's who it was who scored. I think they scored 2 headers from corners that game. But yeah, right now, our position, I don't know whether we go man marking or zonal most of the time, but at home, it seems to be a problem. You know, every time the opposition gets, particularly a corner, it looks like we're going to concede from it. The setup for me is wrong in terms of, you know, what players we have marking in the penalty area, what players we feel can mark their main threats in the air. And yeah, if we don't address it, that problem's going to continue. Away from home, you know, we're more organised. You know, we're more on the front foot. We counter better from opposition corners, but at home the confidence just lacks and the nerves kick in. I don't know what it is at this moment. It might be just nerves from this young squad that we've got, but yeah, it's something we need to address. Otherwise, I don't see our home form being better than what it was last season.
Right, go to Jack. Jack, quickly, right. The under-21s, did you see the game during the week?
I didn't. I saw a few highlights of it, Terry, but I didn't watch the whole game, I must admit.
We had Semedo, Alialush, Rushin, but the two I want to talk about, Sleep and Triantus. Now, this is the problem we've got at the moment, even though we like the defensive situation, we've got Ballard, we've got 0-9. We've got rid of Danny Bart, which is a massive mistake for me. I mean, unless he wanted to go, we should have done all sorts to keep the lad here, because clearly Sleep got injured. He's not ready. Triantus doesn't seem to be up to speed yet. And the pair of them for me on the 21s of the night, they weren't fantastic. Whether, let's face it, I don't think they're ready for the championship. So we stuck with the two. Basically, we stuck with Luke 09, who's not really a defender. We've got to make do with Luke 09. But I think Luke 09's doing a decent job in defence, to be fair. But we really could do with a proper defender in a defensive position. Against Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow night, can you see anything at all changing in defence?
Not really. Not really at all. I mean, do we know when AJ Alessi's back? Does anybody know on that?
2 weeks before he's actually back, I think, training again or whatever he calls it on the grass.
So it's a few games, yeah. I think, it's a difficult one because you see them two big lads and anybody will look at it and think, well, if you're struggling from set pieces, why don't you put one of the big lads in defence? And I think, yes, that might help us in that scenario. But I think at the minute, Luke 09 is probably one of the better options. I've been critical of him in the past, but I think, he tends to have more good games than bad games. But when he gets it really wrong, he does get it wrong. You know what I mean? So I can't see anything changing. I think Sheffield Wednesday are likely to be one of the teams that are more aerial and a bit more of a challenge from set pieces. That might be put right on that. But I think we're going to have to be careful. Not concede them, though. That was the most frustrating thing for me. It was the fact that they didn't have to do anything to get that corner. It was a really, really sloppy back pass to the goalkeeper, and we gifted them an opportunity. Whereas Sunderland most vulnerable in the air. Do you know what I mean? It's from set pieces and free kicks and corners up and the physical side of the game. And we threw it away, really. We give them an opportunity to put that in the box. So, no, I don't think anything will change too much defensively. I'm just waiting for AJ Alessi to come back. I think we're going to have a big talking point when he does come back, though, because where does Luke 09 get in the team? When AJ Alessi comes back, does Luke 09 immediately start? Where does he start? People start talking about putting him back in midfield, but I suppose we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, I think when Leslie gets back and he's actually fit and up to speed with the game and he can stay injury-free, because he had a couple of injuries already himself, then I think, he eventually get back in the side. So we'll talk about Sheffield Wednesday, Wayne. They haven't won a game all season. Manager's under extreme pressure. He's the favourite to get sacked. I think they've drawn 2, lost 6. There's going to be some sort of protest tomorrow night. Have you heard any news on the protest, and what's your thoughts on the game itself, Wayne?
Yeah. I was talking to some Sheffield Wednesday fans on my channel this afternoon, and they've said they're going to be doing another protest. I know they did a tennis ball one in the last home game against Borough, but apparently they're going to be doing something with black and white balloons on tomorrow night. I'm not sure if that's just to upset us as well, but I don't know what they're going to be doing. But there's going to be some kind of black and white protest before the game, but they really are not happy. I put a post out on their chairman. They're charging them 59 quid for a ticket. It's the most expensive tickets, 59 quid to watch them. It's absolutely shocking.
That's horrendous. That's awful. I shouldn't laugh at that. That's ridiculous.
Right. It's going to be it's a potential banana skin, and it's just like what's for a rock up there. These type of games, teams not won for years, just up step someone and roll over and get them a win. But I think this team's a bit different. I think we're too strong for them, but there's always that potential where we go in there and just think we're going to beat them, and it comes back and bites us a little bit.
I mean, any team can beat any teams. Look at Newcastle beating Man City last night. Miracles happen for some teams, and Exeter beating Luton the day before. So anybody can beat anybody on any given day, but surely the form they're in, the way the fans are going to protest, the morale's got to be down at Sheffield at this moment in time. I mean, what team do you start with?
Well, I've got my team here, so I would start with Patterson in goal. I would have Hume, Ballard, O'Neill and Huggins, but I would have Neil and Joby. If Ekwa's fit, obviously Ekwa would come in, but I don't think he is. So it would be Neil and Joby. I would have Roberts on the right, Clark on the left, El Shish in the middle, playing behind Rushin. just to change up a little bit. I think Elshish, every time I've seen him, he's impressed. He looks ready to start. I watched him on Monday for the 21s again. Had a really good game, looked direct, got a goal. So for me, I think it's time to put him in. Pritchard, I think, looked a little bit leggy on Sunday, so I'd give him a rest. But Ekwar's the one for me. I just wish he was fit, but I don't think he's going to be. But defensively as well, I love 09 to bits, but I think when we defend in corners, that's where we need a proper defender. And I thought Sealed had a decent game on Monday. He grew into the game a lot better. So out of him and Triantis, I think Sealed will be the one ready for the game. But we're not Tony Mowbray. We won't take Luke 09 out of the side. No. So
I mean, we were playing against Derby League One, under 21s league, whatever that is. So yeah, I mean, let's face it, it wasn't a very good standard of football, was it? So I mean, if they really couldn't defend against them, they're going to be able to defend in the championship, are they? Yeah. So we'll move on to Jacob. Jacob, what's your thoughts on what team you think you would put out? I'm led to believe Ekwar is not playing tomorrow. He's not playing tomorrow. So
I don't think so. I think it'll be a tad too soon for him. But I think, obviously, I've got my team. This is based on what I know he's got available and what I think he should do on a tactical point of view. But judging by his attitude in the presser today, I think there could be one or two surprises for the starting lineup tomorrow, because he did hint at some more injuries in there. But the only
he always looks miserable though, doesn't he? Oh, well, let's face it, he never looks happy, does he? He's always chewing goody sweets at the start. You can't hear what he's saying, then he's miserable after time.
What I love about, he doesn't give anything away. No nonsense bloke. I love Tony to pieces. Never say a bad word about him. But back to my team. One change I would make, I think it will be the exact same. I think players respond better to 09 being on the pitch. I can understand Wayne's point about, we need to do better at defending set pieces. But I think when we do defend well on set pieces, 09 is good at, starting the counter attacks from the edge of our own box. He's the quickest centre half, put it that way, to bring the ball out and, make those passes further up the pitch compared to some of the other centre halves we have. And the one, I think it will be the same team like we've played against Cardiff and Blackburn, but the one change will be up front. I think Rushin will start over Burstow.
I'm pretty sure Rushin won't start. I don't think he's ready yet either. He got a couple of knocks on Monday night as well, so I think he'll come off for about, I think give him 30 minutes. I could probably give him 30 minutes. Yeah. Jack, what's your thought?
If not Terry, it will be Clark as the main forward, and I think if that's the case, him picking up a few knocks, Roberts will play.
I honestly think he'll start Burstow again. I think he'll keep him in the side just for the sake of the Chelsea connection for at least another game until the Rushin or someone gets into the 30 minutes to get himself fit. Jack, what's your thoughts on Sheffield Wednesday, the game itself and your team selection?
Yeah, I think I would do Robertson for bar. I would agree with what Wayne says, and a Shushi or however you pronounce it in for possibly Pritchard. Play him and Neil as a hold, and Bellingham behind the striker Burstow, Robertson, Clark on the wings, and then the same back four and the same goalkeeper 4-2-3-1. How do I think the game will go? I don't know. I think it has potential banana skin all over. It has a 1-0 Sheffield Wednesday. They get the first win of the season. Hopefully not. I think though that we should learn from last week. Do you know what I mean? And learn that we can't just keep the ball and not play with any sort of tempo and not mix it up a little bit. Hopefully Sheffield Wednesday come all out at us in the first half and we can catch them a couple of times, because I would love for them to get the crowd get behind them and then they throw everything at us the first 10 or 15 minutes and we catch them on the counter and get a goal. Do you know what I mean? That would be ideal for me if we can go 1-0 up early. But yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult one, because even though there are protests and things, they have, they are still a home team and they are still going to be right behind their team. So I think we have to, take it for what it is. But I think really we should be going there and trying to win the game. Absolutely. I think, if anything less than 3 points on Friday night, it's a really disappointing result for me.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting a couple of good draws against Burn, against Leeds, and they've lost a few games by 1 goal. So, they've had Ipswich only won 1-0 when they went there, I think. So, yeah, so this is going to be a tough match.
Yeah, well, that tells me that they might raise the game for the better teams. You know what I mean? They might be bang up for it against us. You know what I mean? We're probably one of the better teams in the division. It's a game on Sky. You know what I mean? And yes, there's going to be a bit of perhaps a negative atmosphere with the protest, but you know, when the whistle goes, they're probably going to be bang up for it as any team is. So, you know, it's not going to be easy. But I think if we get our good players on the ball as quickly as we can and maybe exploit the space that they give us, we should be creating chances against this team. I really think we should be creating plenty of chance.
Right, cheers. Jacob, what's the chat like? Any good interesting comments on there? And how many likes we got now?
In terms of likes, we are on 61 likes, 103 people currently watching. For those who are watching, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button below the screen. Back to the comments. David Thompson, Adji was in training today. Sure, I've seen a Twitter post with him training. I'll go and check. I think I agree with that one. I'm pretty sure I've seen a picture of him doing a training session, but I think it'll be too soon for him to be involved in the squad tomorrow evening, unfortunately. XR Mackham, TM, meaning Tony Mowbray, pretty much said today Russian won't be starting for a few weeks. If he's right on that one, my team selection is wrong. David, however, he has chipped in, bring Russian on if he is fit on 60 minutes. Don't think he'll start. Wonder if Wednesday, he's also had a wonder if Wednesday will play for a draw. And Anthony agrees with Jack, if we can weather the storm like we did against Blackburn, we should come out with 3 points. Alex Dixon's chipped in. Pato looked injured, I believe he's trying to say, on Sunday, because he was keep holding his back. I think he's referring to, he might have had a back injury. I think he's just worded his comment a little bit wrong there. But yeah, hopefully Pato's okay and there's no injury involved in there. But yeah, that's what we've got on the live chat so far.
So maybe Tony Mowbray might be one of the places alluding to. It could be Patterson. Could be one of the ones that might be injured. You never know. And maybe he's like Bishop might get his opportunity. I mean, my team, I'd play the same defence as we did, goalkeeper. I'd have Naylor's more the holding midfield, and I'd have Job, Pritchard in front, Clark Robertson, obviously Burstow. That's the team I think Tony Mowbray will start if they all fit, that is. And I think possibly maybe his back got a bit of a knock, I don't know. But we'll go to score predictions. Wayne, what's your score prediction? And do you think, surely we kind of go there and lose, are we?
No, I think we'll go there. And I think we'll be too strong for them. I really do. I think if we go there and play correctly and get on the front foot early, because I think it might be the same type of game, even though we're away, it might be the same type of game as Cardiff. I think they might just sit in and try and hit us on the break. So it'll be up to us. But if we can get an early goal, I think I'm going to go for a 3-0. I think we'll be far too strong for them. And I think if we get an early goal, the fans are already, on the backs to start with. So atmosphere is not great. I think 3-0 for me.
I mean, at the start of the season, Wayne, if someone turned around and said, right after 8 games, you're going to be in 5th place, you would be happy with that, wouldn't you?
Exactly, 100%. I mean, especially after the start we had, the first couple of games, everything was all doom and gloom. But since then, the run we've been on, like we've spoken about the Cardiff game, the performance wasn't bad. It was one of them games where we couldn't score, so perfect opportunity for to go and get back on the run and get back to winning ways.
Exactly, and Jacob, again, I'll say the same to you. Score prediction, but again, if at the start of the season someone said to you, you're going to be in 5th place, you're going to have Pembele not even fit, you're going to have a new striker Rushin who's only 60% fit, ready to come on, you got a young lad Burstow, you got Semedo who's not really sort of getting any game time, you got lots of injuries, you got players like Ali Alouche who's getting up the speed. You'll be taking 5th place with all those players to come in. Surely times are happy and good.
Yeah, if you'd offered me that at the start of the season, I would have snapped your hand off, to be honest, for the position we're in right now. Obviously, I know it could be a tad better, but then again, it's still at very early days. On to my score prediction. I do agree with what Wayne says. I think we've got to be more cautious considering the Cardiff performance where we allowed them one sniff and they got a goal from it. Worst case scenario, Ashley Fletcher and Jeff Hendrick have the games of their life for evening. That's the worst. But I do agree with Wayne. I think we'll be a tad too strong for them. I don't think they'll be sitting back as much as what Cardiff did to us at the week, but I think we'll be able to pick them off on the counter. I think the likes of Clark and Neil, their quality will show in the final third, but I think we'll win 2-1.
2-1. You always say 2-1, Jacob, all the time.
Love it.
I knew exactly what you were going to say. I could read your mind. I mean, let's face it, Jack, start the season, 8 games in, 5th place. We know what, I mean, there's so many teams within so many points, a couple of defeats here and there, and you just drop down the table. But at this moment in time, we're in 5th place, a couple of wins, and you're up in the top 4, whatever. Must have been happy, Jack, surely.
Yeah, you're saying that you would have taken it at the start of the season. I'd probably take it at the finish of the season, to be fair. If we finished in 5th in the playoffs, I know people say you should always be in for automatic promotion, but I think another season in the playoffs is probably about where we are as a team, to be fair. I think we're probably the fourth or fifth best team in this league. I think there's probably most of the chat would agree with that. I mean, if we can have a run and push towards the automatics, great, but I don't think the squad's ready for it yet, personally. So, yeah, I think the start's been decent. In terms of points per results, 13 points is probably about right, maybe. We're maybe short of maybe 1 or 2. We could have maybe nudged it up to 14 or 15 from 8 games, but it's probably about right. We've maybe nicked a couple at Blackburn when we weren't at our best, and we probably should have maybe getting something against Cardiff, so you could say that levelled out. But yeah, in terms of how we play, I think Sheffield Wednesday will come out at us the first 5, 10, 15 minutes. I think they'll be buoyed, the crowd will be up. But I think really, if we can get on the ball, we're a much better football team than just play football. Try and get on the ball, keep the tempo up as much as we possibly can. Try and get in behind, maybe mix it up a little bit, play the odd cross, play the ball in behind that'll sort of push them back. See, when teams are pressing us high, the one thing that you can do is play a ball over the top, and then that makes the defence drop 10 yards further deep because they don't want to be caught, and then you can get your ball players on the ball. You know what I mean? Your Clark and your Roberts and your Dan Neil. So yeah, I think we'll win. I think we'll have too much of them. I don't think they'll be as comfortable as what Wayne's suggesting 3-0. I think it might be a little bit more scrappy. And we haven't had a 1-0 yet. We haven't had a 1-0 win yet. So I think that's what I'll go for. I'll go for Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sunderland 1.
I'm thinking more along the lines of maybe Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sunderland 4. Their manager to get sacked. We do the fans a big favour. A new manager comes in, they survive, stay mid-table. That sort of scenario for me. That's what I'm thinking, 4-1 to Sunderland. But Wayne, you watched the under-21s during the week. What was your thoughts on Rushan?
He looked really, really good. His first touch looked really good. One thing I know, he's playing left-hand side. He hasn't got a left foot and all that, but that's just because he's playing out there. But he looks fast. He looks direct. He's got a good touch, and his first instinct is to drive towards goal, which I like. So, I'm really, really excited by what I saw. Bearing in mind it was his first start as well, and when he gets more fitness, he's only going to get better. So, for me, I was really impressed. So,
why did you play him on the left-hand side? He hasn't got a left foot. What's the thinking in that?
I didn't know. I think it was maybe just to give Amido a game to try and get him up to speed. I think Elshish was on the right-hand side and he did well. So I don't know. And when we signed him, I know he can play both sides, but he didn't attempt to make any crosses with his left foot. Everything was with the outside of his right foot. So he's definitely not a left footer. But maybe that's what he wants. Like Jack Clark, and then to cut in from the left-hand side and use his right foot. That type of player. But I think he'd be playing through the middle once he's up to speed.
Nice one. Jacob, did you see him?
I saw little bits from the game. I do agree with what Wayne said. Great touch, decent turn of pace. Not sure he's fully up to date with fitness at the moment, which I think.
So why would you start him on Friday if he's not fit, Jacob?
Well, because I'm not sure he'll be fully convinced by what he's seen from Burstone so far. To be fair, I mean, yeah. But he might not have any choice. He did hint at some injuries today. So, but then again, I think a lot of the players that played in that under-21s game the other night, I think some of them are needing fitness regardless. So, yeah, it is one of those.
I was going to say, if I know what Wayne's going to say, I thought Ellis Taylor had a good game.
Yeah, exactly. You just took the words out of my mouth. I thought Ellis Taylor, him and Rushan down left-hand side, they both played really, really well. Ellis Taylor, he looked outstanding. I know it's different, totally different with the Championship, but I thought he played well, and I thought Michael Spellman played well as well in the middle. He looked good, but it's a totally different type of football. But Ellis Taylor, for me, really impressed.
One quick thoughts from Jack. What's your thoughts overall, Ellis Taylor? What you've seen of him so far?
Not seen a lot of them, to be fair, Terry, but I just know, generically speaking, we have got a lot of young players coming through, the likes of him and Chris Rigg, you know what I mean? So it's going to be very, very difficult to break them into the first team, but I think having a young squad helps bring young players through, do you know what I mean? Because if you've got young players that can bounce off them, they're probably going to get out. He's probably going to get on with a lot of young players. So yeah, I think it can only be a good thing. Give us more options. He looks like he's got a bit of talent, but again, with young players, you just got to bide your time with them. You don't want to place too much expectation on them, because how many times have we said with players, oh, he's going to be the next this one or the next so and so, or whoever, and it doesn't quite work out like that. So, but it's going to be interesting to see them develop. We've got a good training scheme at the minute. We've got lots of players coming through. They're playing under a manager that Tony Mowbray likes young players, and yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. But yeah, it looks like he's got a little bit more than the other young lads at the minute.
I have to say, man, when I watched the under-21s game, I thought Semedo looked lost at times. I don't understand what was going on with him, what's happening with him, but I just think sometimes he just looks completely either. I don't know if it's just his body language. He looks uninterested. He doesn't want to sprint. I just don't know. What's that all about, Wayne?
That's what same as you. I just thought he looked as though he just didn't want to be there. He looked disinterested, like no urgency, and you could hear them actually shout at him from the sideline to get involved. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether he's just not enjoying his football here. Maybe he thought he was going to come in with first choice, and he's not. So he's kind of spat the dummy out a little bit. But for me, he isn't anywhere near the first team for me at the moment. Like not the way, not his attitude and the way he's playing. I think Tony Mowbray, from even in pre-season, kind of said that, didn't he? Maybe he's a lazy trainer. He doesn't like getting fit.
What I will give to Semedo, though, he has got a good first touch. He seems to pass. He gets the ball, passes it off straight away, and sort of opens up play. That, for me, was his best part of his game. Apart from that, like I said, he looked a bit uninterested. Anyway, Jake, do you want to say goodbye to everybody on the chat?
Yeah.
A few more comments before you go?
Yeah, of course. Score predictions coming in on the chat tonight. Comrade Tank, Wednesday 0 Sunderland 2. Ryan McCormack, Wednesday 1 Sunderland 3. Emma Hansen, 1-0 to us. A very sloppy goal. This is the best one of all. Paged, I think that's how you pronounce it. Got to beat the Mag, score 9-0, knee bother. I mean, I'd love to know the odds on Sky Bet for that one, but who knows? Honestly, who knows? But yeah, for those going to Chef Wed tomorrow night, if you've been watching, enjoy yourselves, take care, keep the faith, as I always say. How are the lads? Have a good evening, guys.
Jack, did we even get your score prediction off yet?
Yeah, I said 1-0.
1-0, that was it, right? Good, happy days. Don't know why that's gone off, but yeah. So, Jack, do you want to say goodbye to everybody, or did you have something else to say? You wanted to say?
No, I was just going to say, touching on Semedo, for me, it looks like a bit of an intensity issue. I don't think he's used to an intense game. You know what I mean? I think the second it starts getting quick, and the crowd starts to get up, he looks like he shies away. You think a new signing would be all about that? To me, I don't think he realised how quick the game was going to be. That's the issue with me. But anyway, thank you for everybody for watching. I say it every week, you know what I mean. But if nobody watched, we wouldn't have a show, would we? We'd just be four lads just talking rubbish to each other. So thanks to everyone for watching. Be careful down Sheffield Wednesday as well. They're talking. They've got a little bit of a reputation for starting on the odd away fan. So just be careful if you're going out, particularly if we've won. Try not to give it the big and too much, because you don't want to get a clip of anybody. But yeah, thanks for everyone for watching, and I'll see everybody later, lads and lasses.
Thank you, Jack, and have a good, safe journey then back tomorrow night with everybody else that goes down. Wayne, do you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Yeah, just to echo what the lads have said. Thanks for watching. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for everybody who's commented in the live chat. Now, anybody travelling down there, have a safe trip and try and avoid them black and white balloons.
Exactly. Echo everybody's echo what Wayne said there. Thank you for being on the chat tonight. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for giving us a thumbs up. Don't forget one last push for the thumbs up if you can, please. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and take care. God bless me. God go with you. And we'll see you hopefully next week when we're happy because we've had 3 points in the bag.